Hey guys, something I had to do in the beginning that was extremely hard was dare to be different. I had to dare to be different than the people in my environment. And with every aspect of my life, right? I had to stop just going with the flow and being involved in the conversations that were just didn't do anything or make me grow. Or most people, and they're just unaware, they're just aimlessly talking about things that really don't benefit you at all. And I just want you to really think about this because, at least for me, and I'm assuming it would be for more than just me, but once you start on this journey and you start to become aware of some of these things and your beliefs start to change, you don't agree with a lot of things that people are saying, and so you're trying to be involved in a conversation with a friend or a family member, and it can be hard at times because you don't want to. You still are caring about what they think of you, so you suppress how you really feel or what you really believe or what you think or this new information you found. And it's an amazing thing to be able to unlearn what you've been programmed and relearn new information. That in itself is a huge feat, and a lot of the top performers in the world do that constantly. I'm telling you, living 90 days at a time. These guys are living a half hour at a time. When they sit down to do whatever task they're doing, their phone's on vibrate. It's not even near them. There is no distractions. And with every half hour, they're stopping and thinking, how far did I get? Did I do enough? Because they understand, right? Focused determination is extremely important, right? You have to really, once you get to that level, people used to say all the time when I was studying, you got to quit worrying about what other people think. You have to, that is going to hold you back. You have to just get to a point where your goals and your dreams are more important than what somebody thinks or failing. And the one thing that really helped me the most was when I became aware we all are going to die. That's the one thing we all have in common. At some point in this life, we are all going to die. And so is it worth going through life, not taking risks and not living to my fullest because of what somebody might think of me or say about me, when in the end I'm going to die anyways? What is it really worth? I just don't think that was the one thing that I really pondered on. It really helped me out a lot. If you guys can think about that and start to understand that fear is holding you back, right? And the opposite of fear is faith. And how do we get faith? A strong faith is by autosuggestion. In the beginning, for me, autosuggestion is one of the most powerful tools, I believe. Repetition it's huge. You just start believing that you're going to have faith, and you start with affirmations, and you just say these things over and over and over and over and over. But a really important part of that is you have to believe and feel what you're saying. You can say an affirmation a million times. If there's no feeling attached to it, it doesn't do anything. And so one of the things Neville Goddard taught me was, don't just be hearers, be doers, right? What he's saying is, don't just hear information and keep gathering information. Do something with this information and feel how you want to feel now. Don't wait for this thing to come into your life to feel that way. Start feeling that way now through the law of assumption, and just assume you are that person, right? This is how you change your personality. This is how you really start seeing synchronicities, is when you just believe you are someone in a year or 2 or 3 down the road, and you start acting like that person now, right? You start being orderly, and you start being diligent, and you start with these habits, and you start becoming a person that's going to be successful because you're building habits to be successful, right? A really good book is by Neville Goddard. His Feeling is the Secret. I think you guys should buy the book, but if you don't want to buy the book, you can find his information online. And he was a really big part of my development, changing my beliefs and habits, and his information's extremely simple It's not easy, obviously, because you have to do the work. You have to stop those thoughts from coming in, right? And so we're day 28, and you can see how this thing's keeps going. You know, the time doesn't stop. So if you're not doing things and you're not taking action and you're not whatever it is that you are trying to accomplish, things, you just look back and then the time's gone, right? And it's okay. You don't have to freak out and get worried, and I don't want you guys stressed out. I just want you guys, in the beginning, you're really trying to change a lot of things. And so just relax. Do the best that you can do. Take your time. If you miss it one day and you remember the next day, do it twice if you want. You're just trying to do the best you can do, and then down the road you become way more productive because you've set these habits in place to where you're either your morning routine or in your business, if you're an entrepreneur, or even your job, you start not worrying about what everyone else is doing and getting sucked into the gossip. You just know, if I do the best that I can do and I go above and beyond, that all comes back to me. Just something to kind of think about, especially when you're at a job that you really don't like. And I understand, I've been there, and there's people around you who don't care and they're doing the bare minimum. Don't try not to get sucked into that. I'm not saying it's super easy. If you can help it, really start trying to think about that and become aware of that. And one little thing that I did that I think would help you guys is to just listen to what people are saying and just hear what they're saying. Don't get involved in the conversation. Just listen to what they're saying, and you become aware they're not talking about anything productive, and a lot of it's full of negativity, right? And then you can start piecing things back, connecting dots, and understand that you were probably unconsciously, when you were involved in those conversations, saying a bunch of negative stuff too, right? But now that you're aware and you've removed yourself from that, you're not having so many negative words come out of your mouth. I try to never say a negative thing. That's one of my daily rituals, is to say the least amount of negative things I can possibly. I've made a habit of really paying attention to what I say, and things come back to me, and things always work out for me. And it does cause problems when you're married or you have a girlfriend, and you're changing these habits and they're not. And so I don't want you to give up. Just see them changing, right? I gave you guys that little exercise of seeing somebody else, because it's easier in the beginning. See them changing, or reading a book, or becoming more aware, or getting on the journey with you. Or this is just a fact, when you start changing, some of your relationships are gonna vibrate away. You're just not in harmony anymore with that person. But I don't want you to be needy or feel like, well, it's not worth losing this person. I promise you, if you just keep going on the journey and it's meant to be, they're gonna change. Even though you might have tensions, and it might, every now and again, when you're suppressing how you feel and you don't feel like you can actually have a real conversation with them because your beliefs are here now and theirs are still way over, or whatever, just keep writing it down, keep thinking it, keep talking about it, and just try to limit negative things out of your mouth, and watch the synchronicities happen. I don't have to sell anything, because this stuff works. I just want you to be aware of the information I'm aware of, that I've spent time learning and understanding and seeing how powerful it is. I just want you guys to have that, and pretty soon you're going to be off to the races. You're going to be devouring all kinds of things and finding all kinds of cool people, and that's what's really the most wonderful thing about personal development, or call it whatever you want. The downfall to that is 97% of people aren't going to do anything. And it's hard, and it makes me sad. I see people living on the side of the street, and I know the only reason they're living there is because they're unaware that they don't have to be living there. One thing my mentor always said, and in the beginning I didn't understand it, but now I fully understand it, is people don't make $50,000 a year because they want to make $50,000 a year. People make $50,000 a year because they're unaware of how to make $100,000 a year. It's just an awareness. People aren't alone and lonely because they want to be alone and lonely. People are alone and lonely because they're unaware of how to have a meaningful relationship. I really want you to think about that and ponder on that. If you're alone, it's not, we all know it's not because you want to be alone, right? You're probably unaware of how to have a meaningful relationship. And I know this firsthand because I grew up, my family was not an ideal situation. And so there was a lot of survival mode. And so it took me a long time to understand, wow, I don't know how to communicate. I don't know how to connect. I have all of these limiting thoughts. Then I'm not good enough, smart enough. Who would want to love me? Because I didn't love myself, right? Trying to change all of that is daunting, but I promise you it's well worth it. And once I became aware that yes, I do deserve to be loved. I do deserve to have money. I do deserve to have great friends that are real friends. Everything changed. Keep going, guys. Keep smiling. I know it. There's times when it's just painful. I get it. That paradigm is ruthless, and it just wants to keep you safe and alive. And it believes wherever you're at in life, that is truly what you believe. It wants to keep you there because it knows it's the least resistant, right? And when you start changing some of these things, it gets very tough because it doesn't want you to change because it thinks that's scary, right? That's the unknown. You might fail. You might, right? Which is true. You might. But your paradigm just doesn't want you to go through any pain, right? So just remember that. Keep going, guys. Thank you so much. Bye.